Okay, imagine this for a second. You step into the near future, maybe even tomorrow, and the person delivering your news update, or, the face pitching a brand, even a statement from a public official, it's not actually a person. It's a program, an incredibly lifelike one. And, well, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. Today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. We're calling it Voice of the Machine, how synthetic personas and AI avatars are rewriting the rules of public relations.
Yeah, our mission here is to really unpack how these AI-driven spokespersons, these digital clones, are already popping up and changing things. We're talking press rooms, corporate comms, how startups tell their stories, and crucially, what all of this actually means for you listening right now. So we'll look at how they emerged, what they can actually do. Some of it's pretty surprising who's using them already. And maybe most importantly, the big ethical questions, the risks that come with it. Honestly, I'm really curious myself just how real this is already.
Oh, it's definitely real, and probably further along than most people think. When we talk about these synthetic spokespeople, we mean AI-generated avatars, digital humans. These aren't just like simple chatbots or static pictures. No, they're quite sophisticated, and they're being used now. We're seeing them embedded in actual press releases, doing interviews on YouTube, giving keynotes on LinkedIn, even making product announcements for some pretty significant companies. It's happening.
Wow. The speed of that is, well, it's kind of amazing, isn't it? It really feels like just yesterday we were talking about AI potential and theory, and now, boom, it's shaping actual communication strategies for brands, for public figures. So what's driving this? Why the rush? What makes them so attractive, I guess, for modern comms?
Right, that's the key question, the why. And it really boils down to some compelling advantages. One huge factor is hyper-personalization, but at a massive scale. Think about companies using AI to whip up literally over 1,000 custom video messages, pitches for journalists, follow-ups, and each one can be tailored. Different tones, specific data points pulled in, even recognizing the journalist by name.
1,000 unique videos.
Exactly. And the real insight there, it's not just about being efficient. It fundamentally changes the power dynamic. It allows this level of targeted influence we haven't seen before, which, puts more burden on the person receiving it to figure out what's going on. Then there's the consistency angle, the always-on, always polished idea. AI avatars, they don't get tired. They don't stumble over words or get flustered. And critically, they never go off message.
Never off message.
Never. So think about that for, say, live product demos. Perfect consistency every time. Or managing crisis communications, delivering the exact same message, tone, everything, without any emotional wavering. Or even just standard brand training across a huge company. It gives brands this incredible control over the message, which, again, it raises questions about, genuine human responses.
That's incredibly powerful, yeah. But it does make me think, does that level of personalization, that polish, start to feel less human? Maybe even a bit manipulative, especially if the person on the receiving end doesn't even realize it's AI. How do you balance that efficiency with actual connection? And this idea you mentioned, synthetic emotional intelligence, how real can that actually be? Can an AI truly capture, say, a founder's nuance in a tough media spot? Or will you always kind of know it's not them?
That's a really sharp point. And it leads straight into another key advantage they're pushing, this synthetic emotional intelligence. Some of the more advanced systems are actually trained on a specific person's behavior, their voice patterns, their stated values, even trying to mimic their decision-making logic. The objective is to create a sort of virtual clone, right? Something that can handle media stuff when the real founder is just, swamped or unavailable. But you're right, the big challenge is how authentic that simulation feels. Can it truly pass? So if you tie all this together, the business case looks pretty strong on the surface. AI spokespersons, they cut costs. No human talent fees, no travel, simpler scheduling. It's significant.
Right, the budget aspect.
Yeah, but it's more than just saving cash, kind of democratizes access to a polished media presence. Startups can potentially look much bigger, much more established using this, but it also blurs the lines, between real authority and a simulated one. And they scale messaging massively, way beyond what a human team could ever do, all while keeping that message perfectly consistent.
The idea that a small startup can suddenly project this super polished, consistent image globally, or that an AI can absorb a founder's essence for PR, that really is a game changer. It feels almost like finding a cheat code for getting attention in the market.
Yeah.
So given these big advantages, who's actually doing this? Who are the early adopters putting this tech to work right now?
Well, we're seeing them pop up across quite a few different sectors, actually. Tech startups, definitely. Fintech brands are big on it, too.
Yeah.
They're using avatars for consistent, often multilingual media stuff, like picture a fintech needing to explain a complicated product. An avatar can do it flawlessly in 10 languages at once. Same message, same clarity everywhere.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
NGOs are using them, too, getting their message out globally. Imagine an NGO using an avatar for urgent public health info or climate warnings, delivered instantly in dozens of languages, reaching places a person just couldn't.
Wow.
Even entertainment platforms are starting to play with it. For engaging audiences, delivering promo content in new ways.
Okay, those examples really drive home how present this technology already is. It's not theoretical at all. But with tech this powerful, there have got to be downsides. What are the big watch-outs? Where do things get tricky?
And that's the crucial turn, isn't it? This power absolutely comes with some serious ethical baggage and risks. The biggest concern, I think, the one that keeps people up at night, is the risk of deepfake PR. As this synthetic media gets better and better, becoming almost impossible to tell from the real thing,
Yeah.
the potential for misinformation, for outright manipulation just skyrockets. And that opens a Pandora's box of potential legal fights and, maybe worse, a real erosion of public trust in what we see and hear, which naturally leads to tough questions about media credibility, about disclosure. Like, should every AI-generated interview, every synthetic pitch come with a big, clear warning label, a disclaimer, like a made by AI stamp? Something like that. And what's the role of regulation here? How do we govern this new kind of PR automation? Because it's not just about catching lies. It's about how we, as people, tell the difference between genuine human interaction with all its flaws and nuances and this incredibly sophisticated AI simulation. If we don't have clear rules, clear signals, it gets really hard to know what's real. And that affects everything. Consumer trust, political discourse, everything.
That really is the core issue for me.
Yeah.
How do you, listening right now, decide what's credible when the source might be human, might be machine? It fundamentally shifts how we have to approach information, who we decide to trust. It's a big deal. So looking down the road then, where do you see this heading? What's the future of earned media look like with this tech in the mix?
Well, it's heading towards things that probably sound like pure science fiction right now, but they're closer than you might think. We could be looking at things like holographic press rooms, reporters interacting with 3D avatars of spokespeople.
Seriously, holograms.
It's being worked on. Or imagine autonomous podcast guests, an AI that can generate a whole interview on a specific topic on demand, or maybe highly interactive product launches hosted by an avatar that can answer audience questions in real time dynamically. These aren't just pipe dreams. The basic technology is largely there. People are actively pushing these ideas towards becoming, everyday tools.
Okay, so let's try and wrap up this deep dive. We've definitely seen how these synthetic personas, these AI avatars, are already making waves in PR. They offer this incredible scale, hyper-personalization that we just couldn't do before. Plus, the cost savings, the consistent messaging, it's compelling. But, and it's a big but, we've also stared right at the ethical minefield, the deepfake risks, the misinformation potential, and those critical questions about trust, about transparency, about disclosure, knowing what's real.
Absolutely. It's a double-edged sword, no question. So this deep dive, it was really about getting a handle on where we are right now and getting a glimpse into the very near future of how we communicate, how brands and figures reach us. And as we finish up, here's something for you to really chew on. In a world where the voice, the face, representing a brand, a creator, maybe even a politician, could be entirely synthetic, what new tools, what new criteria will you start using to figure out what's credible, what's authentic, and maybe even bigger picture, how does this massive shift affect basic human connection, our trust in public conversation? Definitely something to think about.